So what first inspired you to create modern mythology, and how did the idea for this exhibition take shape? Well, the idea for this exhibition took shape because I've always been very interested in mythology. And I think that it's shocking the degree to which ancient beliefs influence our modern thinking and our modern ideas. And I'm always looking to uncover that and uncover the sort of hidden truths. And so it's a convenient way to do that. Let's see. The title suggests a dialogue between past and present. What role do myths play in today's world, in my view? Well, in my view, myths play a very important role in today's world. You know, most of our governmental systems, our economic systems, are actually surprisingly based on magical thinking and mythological ideas, and you know, even like a lot of morality and stuff. And it's always interesting to try and unearth and uncover these thoughts and ideas. You know.
What do you mean by that?
Which mythological stories or archetypes had the strongest influence on the works in this show? Well, this show is primarily, the archetypes that this show is primarily based on are mostly Greek myths. And, you know, it's funny, when I was in, I think, first grade or something, I actually got a certificate as being the Greek mythology expert. And it launched my interest in Greek myth that spanned until today. And so a lot of these are very obscure myths, but, you know, I think that even the most obscure things are still very much impactful on our modern ideas. Let's see. How do you balance respect for traditional mythologies with your own reinterpretations and contemporary perspective? That's interesting because I think that, you know, it is important to understand that we have a different perspective and that the traditional thoughts behind mythology are very different from today's interpretation. So, like, take the myth of the Medusa. You know, in the past, the Medusa was seen as sort of this monstrous figure that was cursed by the gods because she was impure, because she was raped. And in a more modern interpretation, we might see her as, like, you know, being kind of protected by Athena. You know, she was turned from an object of lust and control into this sort of independent being that couldn't be assaulted. And, you know, it's a different shift in perspective, and they're kind of both true. And I think that they both have a value and a gateway to understanding a deeper, you know, current that exists behind our conscious thought. Let's see, are there any particular artistic mediums or techniques you chose specifically for this exhibition, and why? Well, I always paint in oil on canvas. It's what I was trained to do. My father painted as an oil painter. It's always something I like. I have painted acrylic before and done other mediums and stuff, but for me, oil is always king. I love the transparency, the quality of it, I love everything, the smell. Let's see. And plus, I think that it's really nice to have a very traditional medium when you're dealing with very traditional ideas. Do you see your work as creating new myths for the present or reframing old ones in a modern context? I mean, a bit of both. I don't necessarily view myself as creating myths, but by reinterpreting myths, we're kind of creating new ones. And I think that, honestly, like, there are so many lost or forgotten myths, and anytime we're dealing with archetypal figures, you know, there is going to be some resonance to this sort of ancient world, because these ideas have been around for, you know, thousands of years. Let's see. How do you want audiences to feel when they first encounter the pieces in modern mythology? That's a good question. I don't know. I think when someone first encounters the pieces in the show, I generally want them to be kind of seduced by the quality and the color and sort of interesting dynamics, and then that can bring them into a deeper conversation with the ideas. So I guess that's it. In your process, did you discover any surprising connections between ancient myths and modern life? Yeah, when I was painting these, of course, I discovered many connections between ancient myth and modern life. These stories, they echo through the times, through the, like painting Icarus, for example. I see the story of Icarus and the story of our current fascination with AI as being like the same thing. It's like, how close are we going to fly to the sun with artificial intelligence before our wings melt and we plummet to the earth? I think these are classic recurring stories for a very good reason. Let's see. If you had to describe the central message or question of the exhibition in a single sentence, what would it be? I think that the central sentence for me of the exhibition would be that mythology is alive and well. And even if you are not conscious of it, even if you don't think you are affected by it, you are. And if we can interrogate that, if we can look into it, then we can really become more aware of our own life and our own world. I think that's valuable. What's next for you? Do you see this exploration of mythology continuing into your future projects, or is it a self-contained body of work? Well, kind of both. This is a self-contained body of work for sure. But then my next series, which I've already begun, is going to be about Norse mythology, but it's through a different lens. Whereas this was kind of trying to understand mythological relation to the world, the next series will be kind of interrogating what desire means and using mythology as a kind of lens to understand human desire. So each god can be thought of as an expression of desire or want or fear. And so by looking at the gods, by using them as kind of a stand-in, you can actually illustrate our desires in a non-literal kind of way.